Jiwoo wiped the sweat from his face as he walked through the long metal hallways of the Eternal Dawn. The huge spaceship was home to 50,000 people from Earth and other planets. But Jiwoo did not live in the nice parts of the ship. He worked in the bottom levels where the air smelled bad and the lights were dim. His job was simple. He took care of the animals that the ship used for exploring new planets. Most people called it the biostable, but Jiwoo just called it home. He had worked there for 3 years ever since he was 16. No one paid much attention to a stable boy. "Jiwoo!" called Minho, his boss. "The Thoraxian beast is acting crazy again. 3 people got hurt trying to feed it." Jiwoo nodded and grabbed his bucket of food. The Thoraxian beast was as big as a truck and had 6 legs with sharp claws. Its skin was purple and covered in spikes. Most people were scared of it, but Jiwoo was not. He walked to the big cage where the beast lived. Inside, the creature was hitting the walls with its claws. Its red eyes were full of anger. The metal bars were bent from its strength. "Hey there, big guy," Jiwoo said softly. He did not open the cage yet. "What's wrong today?" The beast stopped hitting the walls. It looked at Jiwoo with its red eyes. Slowly, it walked closer to the bars. Jiwoo reached his hand toward the cage. Everyone always told him not to do this, but the beast never hurt him. The creature sniffed his hand, then made a low rumbling sound. This was how it said hello. "I know you're hungry," Jiwoo said. He opened the cage door and stepped inside. The beast could have killed him with one swipe of its claws, but it just sat down like a big dog. Jiwoo poured the food into a bowl. The beast ate quietly while Jiwoo petted its spiky head. The anger in its eyes was gone. "How do you do that?" asked Nari, the communications officer. She was watching from outside the cage. She had short black hair and kind eyes. "Do what?" Jiwoo asked. "That thing almost killed 3 people an hour ago. Now it's acting like a pet." Jiwoo shrugged. "I just talked to them. Animals are not that hard to understand." But Nari kept watching him. She had noticed something strange. Every time Jiwoo worked with the alien animals, they became calm. Even the most dangerous ones would listen to him. Later that day, Captain Sunho called a meeting for all the crew members. Jiwoo did not usually go to these meetings, but Minho told him to come. The captain was a tall man with gray hair. He stood in front of a big screen that showed pictures of space. "We have found something interesting," Captain Sunho said. "A planet called Cathera Prime. The planet is covered with old ruins. We think they are very old, maybe thousands of years." The screen showed pictures of the planet. Jiwoo saw tall stone buildings that looked like they were made by giants. Strange symbols were carved into the walls. "We will send teams to explore these ruins," the captain said. "This could help us learn about old civilizations." After the meeting, Jiwoo walked back to the biostable, but he could not stop thinking about the pictures. The symbols on the walls looked familiar, but he did not know why. The next day, the ship reached Cathara Prime. Jiwoo watched from a small window as teams of people went down to the planet. He wanted to go too, but stable boys did not get to explore new worlds. 3 days passed. The exploration team sent back many pictures and videos. The ruins were bigger than anyone thought. Some buildings were as tall as mountains. The symbols were everywhere. Then something strange happened. Minho came running into the biostable. "Jiwoo, you need to come with me right now." "What's wrong?" Jiwoo asked. "Just come." They ran through the ship's hallways to the main research room. Inside, scientists were looking at pictures on big screens. Captain Sunho was there too. Everyone looked worried. "Show him the video," Captain Sunho said. On the screen, Jiwoo saw one of the exploration teams walking through the ruins. They were in a room with walls covered in symbols. Everything looked normal. Then the video changed. It showed the same room, but now some of the symbols were glowing with blue light. "This happened when Soman's team was exploring," Minho said. "But look at this." The video showed a woman named Somin touching one of the glowing symbols. Nothing happened. Then a man tried. Still nothing. "The symbols only glow when humans are near," Captain Sunho said. "But not all humans. We tested it with 20 different people. The symbols stayed dark." Jiwoo watched the video, but he did not understand why they were showing it to him. "We want you to go down to the planet," the captain said. "Me?" Jiwoo was surprised. "Why me?" "Because of what happens around you," Nari said. She had been quiet in the corner of the room. "I've been watching you work. Strange things happen when you're near the animals. They all calmed down, even the dangerous ones. That's not strange, Jiwoo said. I just know how to talk to them. It's more than that, Nari said. Yesterday I saw you calm a vortex serpent just by looking at it. Those things are supposed to be impossible to control. Captain Sunho nodded. We think you might have a special ability. We want to test it with these ruins. Jiwoo felt scared. He had never left the ship before. He was just a stable boy. Why would they want him to explore ancient ruins? I don't know anything about old civilizations, he said. You don't need to, Captain Sunho said. Just touch the walls and tell us what happens. 2 hours later, Jiwoo was on a small ship going down to Cathera Prime. His hands were shaking. He had never been on a planet before. The ship landed near the biggest ruin, a tall tower made of black stone. Somin met him at the landing site. She was a short woman with glasses who studied old things. Don't be nervous, she said. We just want you to walk around and see what happens. They entered the tower through a big doorway. Inside, the walls were covered with symbols that looked like they had been carved by claws. The symbols were dark and cold. Jiwoo took a step forward. Suddenly, the symbols began to glow with bright blue light. The light spread across the walls like water. Soon, the whole room was filled with blue light. Amazing, Somin whispered. But Jiwoo was not looking at the walls anymore. He was staring at one symbol that was glowing brighter than the others. It looked like a dragon with its wings spread wide. Without thinking, he reached out and touched it. The world exploded with light and sound. Jiwoo's mind was filled with visions he did not understand. He saw giant creatures flying through space between the stars. He heard voices speaking in a language he had never learned but somehow understood. The bond awakens, the voices said. The lost child returns. When the light faded, Jiwoo was on the ground. Salmon was kneeling next to him, looking worried. What happened? She asked. You were glowing too. Jiwoo sat up slowly. His head hurt, but he felt different. Like something inside him had woken up after a long sleep. I saw dragons, he said quietly, flying in space. And they were talking to me. The news about Jiwoo spread through the ship like fire. In just 2 days, everyone knew about the stable boy who made ancient symbols glow. Some people thought he was special. Others thought it was just luck. Hyunwoo, the security chief, did not believe in luck. He was a big man with scars on his face from old battles. He watched Jiwoo with dark eyes. I don't trust him, Hyunwoo told Captain Sunho. Strange powers always mean trouble. What if he's dangerous? But Captain Sunho wanted to learn more. He sent Somin back to the planet with a bigger team. This time Jiwoo would explore more of the ruins. Are you ready? Nari asked him. She had asked to join the exploration team. She wanted to see what would happen next. Jiwoo nodded, but he still felt scared. The visions from the dragon symbol had not stopped. Every night he dreamed of giant creatures flying between the stars. In his dreams they called his name. The team landed near a different ruin this time. It was a huge building that looked like a castle. The walls were covered with pictures of dragons and humans standing together. Look at these, someone said, pointing at the pictures. Humans and dragons seemed to be friends in these old drawings. As they walked into the castle, the symbols began to glow again. But this time something else happened. The floor under their feet started to glow too. Lines of light spread out like roads leading deeper into the building. It's like a map, Nari said. The light is showing us where to go. They followed the glowing path through long hallways and up tall stairs. The castle was bigger inside than it looked outside. Finally, they reached a huge room with a high ceiling. In the center of the room was a stone table covered with symbols, but they were not alone. Pirates, someone shouted. 6 alien pirates ran into the room behind them. They had green skin and carried energy weapons. Their leader was tall with red eyes. Humans, the leader said with a nasty smile. You found something valuable here. Now it belongs to us. The pirates pointed their weapons at the exploration team. Somin and her people had no weapons. They were scientists, not soldiers, please, Somin said. We're just studying these old ruins. We don't want any trouble. The pirate leader laughed. Too bad. Kill them all. The pirates raised their weapons. Jiwoo saw the energy building up in the gun barrels. In a few seconds, everyone would be dead. Something hot grew in Jiwoo's chest. He felt angry and scared. Without thinking, he opened his mouth and shouted words in a language he did not know. Valdrak Morthun, Keening Suldar. The words echoed through the room like thunder. The stone table in the center began to shake. Cracks appeared in the floor. What did you do? The pirate leader yelled. The answer came from the walls. Giant stone guardians began to move. They had been part of the wall decorations, but now they stepped forward. Each guardian was 10 feet tall and looked like a dragon standing on 2 legs. Their eyes glowed with the same blue light as the symbols. The pirates screamed and started shooting. Their energy weapons hit the stone guardians, but did no damage. The guardians moved slowly but steadily toward the pirates. One guardian grabbed a pirate and threw him across the room. Another crushed a pirate's weapon with its stone claws. The pirate leader tried to run, but a guardian blocked the doorway. "Stop," the leader begged. "We surrender." The guardian stopped moving. They looked at Jiwoo, waiting for his command. Everyone in the room stared at him. "Let them go," Jiwoo said in normal words. "But take their weapons." The guardians took the pirates' weapons and pushed them toward the exit. The aliens ran away as fast as they could. When the pirates were gone, the guardians returned to the walls. They became decorations again, but their eyes still glowed softly. "How did you do that?" someone whispered. "I don't know," Jiwoo said. The words just came out. Nari had recorded everything on her camera. "This is incredible. You spoke an ancient language and controlled stone guardians." They spent the rest of the day exploring the castle. Every room had more pictures of humans and dragons together. Some pictures showed them flying through space. Others showed them fighting against dark creatures with too many teeth. When they returned to the ship, Captain Sunho called another meeting. This time the whole crew came. Even the people from other planets wanted to hear about the stable boy who could speak to ancient stones. "Show them the recording," Captain Sunho said. Nari played the video of the pirate attack. Everyone watched as Jiwoo spoke in the strange language and awakened the guardians. When the video ended, the room was very quiet. "What language was that?" asked Dr. Yuna, the ship's language expert. "I don't know," Jiwoo said. "I never learned it. The words just came to me when I was scared." Dr. Yuna looked at her computer. "I've compared it to every known language in our database. There's no match. But the structure is similar to some very old Earth languages that died out thousands of years ago." Hyunwoo stood up. "This is getting dangerous. First he makes symbols glow. Now he's controlling ancient weapons. What's next?" "He saved our lives," someone said. "Without him we would all be dead." "Today he saved you," Hyunwoo said. "Tomorrow he might kill us all." Captain Sunho raised his hand for silence. "We need to understand what's happening. Jiwoo, I want you to work with Dr. Yuna. We need to learn more about these abilities." Over the next few days, Dr. Yuna ran many tests on Jiwoo. She took samples of his blood and scanned his brain. She made him look at pictures of different symbols and languages. "This is very strange," she told Captain Sunho. "His blood is normal human blood, but when he looks at those dragon symbols, his brain activity goes crazy. It's like his mind is trying to remember something." Meanwhile, Nari kept watching the deep space sensors. She had noticed something odd. Every time Jiwoo used his abilities on the planet, the sensors picked up strange signals from empty space. "Captain," she said one morning, "I think something is coming." "What do you mean?" "The sensors show movement in the outer system, but there are no ships or planets out there. Whatever it is, it's big, and it's heading this way." Captain Sunho looked at the sensor readings. There was definitely something out there, but it was too far away to see clearly. "How long until it gets here?" he asked. "At current speed, about 2 days," Nari said. That night, Jiwoo had the strongest dream yet. He saw a dragon so large it could wrap around the eternal dawn 10 times. Its scales were silver and its eyes were ancient and wise. In the dream, the dragon spoke to him. "Young one," the dragon said, "the time of awakening has come. We have waited so long for one of the blood to call to us. I don't understand," Jiwoo said in the dream. "What blood? What am I?" "You are what your people forgot they could be," the dragon said. "You carry the old bond in your heart. Soon we will meet in the flesh." When Jiwoo woke up, he found Nari standing by his bed. She looked excited and scared. "It's here," she said. "The thing from deep space. You need to see this." They ran to the main viewing deck. Through the huge windows, Jiwoo could see something in the darkness of space. At first it looked like a small moon, but as his eyes adjusted, he saw the truth. It was a dragon, a real dragon floating in space without a ship or suit. Its wings were folded against its body, and its scales reflected the light of distant stars. It was bigger than anything Jiwoo had ever imagined. The dragon's eyes opened. Even from far away, Jiwoo could see them glowing with the same blue light as the symbols on the planet. "I am Valthox," a voice said inside Jiwoo's head. "And you, young keeper of the bond, have much to learn. The whole ship was in chaos. People ran through the hallways, some screaming, some crying. No one had ever seen a real dragon before. Most people thought they were just stories from old books. All crew to emergency stations. Captain Sunho's voice came over the speakers. This is not a drill. But Jiwoo was not scared. Standing by the big window, looking at the dragon in space, he felt something he had never felt before. He felt like he was home. Do not fear me, young one, Valthox's voice spoke in his mind. I have come to find you. Everyone can hear you? Jiwoo whispered. Only you can hear my thoughts. You carry the old blood. The bond between our kinds lives in your heart. Dr. Yuna came running up to Jiwoo with a small machine in her hands. I need to take more blood samples. Your body is doing something impossible right now. She put the machine against his arm. It beeped loudly and showed numbers that made her eyes go wide. Captain, she called over her radio. You need to see this. Jiwoo's DNA is changing. Captain Sunho arrived with a team of guards. Hyunwoo was with them and he did not look happy. What do you mean changing? The captain asked. Dr. Yuna showed him the machine. Look at these readings. His blood cells are different than they were yesterday. It's like his body is remembering something it forgot long ago. Is it dangerous? Hyunwoo asked. He had his hand on his weapon. I don't think so, Dr. Yuna said. But I've never seen anything like this before. Outside the window, Valthox moved closer to the ship. The dragon was so big that its head alone was as large as the ship's main deck. May I come aboard? The dragon asked Jiwoo. How? Jiwoo said out loud. You're too big. Everyone stared at him. They could only hear his side of the conversation. Watch, Valthox said. The dragon's body began to glow with silver light. Slowly it became smaller and smaller. In just a few minutes, the dragon had shrunk to the size of a large man. It still looked like a dragon, but now it could fit through the ship's doors. Incredible, Dr. Yuna whispered. I am coming to Docking Bay 7, Valthox told Jiwoo. The dragon is coming to Docking Bay 7, Jiwoo told the captain. Captain Sunho looked at Hyunwoo. Take a full security team. If that thing tries anything dangerous, no, Jiwoo said firmly. Everyone looked at him in surprise. The stable boy had never spoken to the captain like that before. Valthox is not dangerous, at least not to us. How do you know? Hyunwoo demanded. Because I can feel it, Jiwoo said. The same way I can feel that the animals in the stable are hungry or scared. I can feel what Valthox feels. They all went to Docking Bay 7. The bay was usually used for small ships, but today it would welcome the first dragon anyone had seen in thousands of years. The dragon came through the ship's energy shield like it was nothing. Its silver scales sparkled under the bright lights. Its eyes were ancient and wise, like it had seen the birth and death of stars. Valthox looked around the docking bay, then focused on Jiwoo. The dragon's mouth opened in what might have been a smile. Finally, Valthox said out loud. This time everyone could hear him. His voice was deep and warm. I have searched for so long. Searched for what? Captain Sunho asked. Valthox looked at the captain, then back at Jiwoo. For him. For one of the bonded bloodline. We thought they were all gone. What bloodline? Dr. Yuna asked. She was taking readings with her machines. Long ago, before your people spread to the stars, humans and dragons were partners, Valthox explained. Not masters and servants, but true friends. Some humans could speak our language and share our thoughts. We called them the bonded ones. Jiwoo stepped closer to the dragon. He was not afraid. What happened to them? They were killed, Valthox said sadly. A great evil came from the dark places between stars. They destroyed worlds and ate the life from entire planets. We called them the Devourers. Hyunwoo's hand moved to his weapon again. And now they're coming back? We do not know, Valthox said. But when young Jiwoo awakened the Guardian Stones, we felt it across the galaxy. All dragons who still live felt the call. We knew that one of the bonded blood had returned. Dr. Yuna looked at her readings again. The DNA changes make sense now. Jiwoo's body is remembering abilities that his ancestors had. How many dragons are left? Captain Sunho asked. Valthox was quiet for a moment. Not many. When the Devourers came, most of us died fighting them. Those who lived went into hiding. We have waited for 10,000 years. Waited for what? Jiwoo asked. For the bonded ones to return, Valthox said. For someone like you who could call us back to the light. Suddenly Nari's voice came over the radio. Captain! You need to get to the bridge right now. We're getting signals from all over the galaxy. They all hurried to the bridge. Nari was sitting at her station with her eyes wide and scared. What kind of signals? Captain Sunho asked. Dragon calls, she said. At least 50 different locations. They're all sending the same message. She played the recording. It was a sound like singing mixed with thunder. Even though it was in the dragon language, somehow Jiwoo understood it. They're saying the bond awakens, Jiwoo translated. They know I'm here, Velthox nodded. My people are coming. But we may not be the only ones who felt your call. What do you mean? Captain Sunho asked. The Devourers have long ears, Velthox said. If they still live in the dark places, they may have heard it too. Over the next few days, more dragons arrived. They came from all over the galaxy, each one different but all ancient and powerful. Some were blue like ice, others were red like fire. One was black as space itself. The eternal dawn became the meeting place for creatures that had not been together for thousands of years. They spoke in their old language and shared memories of better times. Dr. Yuna worked day and night studying Jiwoo's changing blood. It's amazing, she told him. Your DNA is unlocking abilities that have been sleeping for generations. What kind of abilities? Jiwoo asked. I'm not sure yet, she said. But I think you might be able to do more than just speak to dragons. Your ancestors could share thoughts, share strength, even share life itself. Jiwoo practiced with Velthox every day. The old dragon taught him the proper words in the ancient language. He learned how to speak with his mind instead of his voice. He learned how to feel what the dragons felt. You learn quickly, Velthox said one day. Your blood remembers even if your mind does not. Are there others like me? Jiwoo asked. Perhaps, Velthox said. The bonded blood was strong in some family lines. If any survived the great dying, their children might carry the gift. Captain Sunho had been sending messages to all human colonies, asking them to test their people. So far they had found 3 others who made ancient symbols glow. One was a farmer on a distant world. Another was a soldier in the human fleet. The third was a young girl on a mining station. But as more dragons gathered around the ship, the deep space sensors picked up other signals. Dark shapes were moving in the empty places between stars. Captain, Nari said one morning. Her face was pale with fear. Something big is coming. Really big, and it's not friendly. On the main screen they could see it now, a black shape that was bigger than a moon, moving through space toward them. Velthox saw it and made a sound like a scream and a roar mixed together. All the other dragons heard it and answered with their own calls. What is it? Captain Sunho asked. Velthox's eyes were filled with ancient pain and anger. A devourer ship. They have found us. Jiwoo felt ice in his heart. All around the ship the dragons were preparing for battle. Their eyes glowed with inner fire and their claws extended. What do we do? Jiwoo asked. Velthox looked at him with those ancient eyes. We fight, young bonded one, as our kinds did long ago, together. The devourer ship was like a black hole with teeth. It was so dark that it seemed to eat the light around it. As it came closer, everyone on the Eternal Dawn could feel something wrong in their hearts. How big is that thing? Captain Sunho asked. Nari checked her instruments. Her hands were shaking. It's bigger than our largest city ships, maybe 50 times bigger than us. The dragons around the ship were making sounds Jiwoo had never heard before. They were not roars or calls. They were sounds of old pain and anger. That ship destroyed my homeworld, Velthox told Jiwoo with his mind. I watched it eat the life from 1 billion souls. What do they want? Jiwoo asked out loud. They want to finish what they started, Velthox said so everyone could hear. 10,000 years ago we drove them back into the dark places, but we could not kill them all. Admiral Kyung's voice came over the ship's radio. She was the leader of the human defense fleet. This is Admiral Kyung to all ships. We are sending everything we have to help you. Hold on. But Captain Sunho knew help would not come in time. The nearest human ships were days away. The Devourer ship would reach them in hours. We need to run, Hyunwoo said. Get everyone to the escape pods. No, Jiwoo said. He surprised himself with how strong his voice sounded. We can't run. If we do, they will follow us to other worlds. Other people will die. Dr. Yuna ran up to them with her medical scanner. Jiwoo, I found something important. Your blood is changing faster now. I think the danger is making your abilities grow stronger. What kind of abilities? Captain Sunho asked. I'm not sure, Dr. Yuna said. But his brain is connecting to something big, something that covers the whole galaxy. Velthox looked at Jiwoo with new hope in his ancient eyes. The Great Bond, I thought it was lost forever. What's the Great Bond? Jiwoo asked. Long ago, the strongest of the bonded humans could connect with all dragons everywhere, Velthox explained. They could share strength and thoughts across the stars, but no one has been able to do it for thousands of years. Jiwoo closed his eyes and tried to feel what Dr. Yuna was talking about. There was something there like a song he could almost hear. It was coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Suddenly, he could feel them. Dragons all over the galaxy. Some were sleeping on hidden worlds. Others were flying between the stars. All of them were listening. "We hear you, young bonded one," came voices from far away. "We feel your call. How many?" Jiwoo whispered. "Hundreds, maybe thousands. All that remain of our kind." Jiwoo opened his eyes. Everyone was staring at him. His eyes were glowing with blue light just like the ancient symbols. "They're coming," he said. "Dragons from all over the galaxy. But it will take time. Time we don't have," Yunwoo said. On the main screen, the Devourer ship was getting bigger and bigger. That's when Nari got another message. "Captain, I'm getting a signal from the human colonies. They found more people with the bonded blood." "How many?" Captain Sunho asked. 12 so far, but there's something strange. They're all having the same dream." "What dream?" Jiwoo asked, but he already knew. He had been having it too. A man in a dark place calling for help. He says his name is Jinsu, and he says he's Jiwoo's brother. Jiwoo's heart stopped. "That's impossible. I don't have a brother." But even as he said it, he knew it was true. In his dreams, he had seen a young man with his face, trapped in a place made of metal and shadows. "The Devourers take prisoners sometimes," Vilthox said sadly. "They keep some alive to study. If your brother has the bonded blood..." "He's on that ship," Jiwoo said. "They have my brother." Dr. Yuna looked at her scanner again. "There's more. The 12 people we found, they're all related to each other. And to you. You're part of a family line that goes back thousands of years." "A family of dragon riders," Captain Sunho said quietly. "More than that," Vilthox said. "A family that helped save the galaxy once before." The Devourer ship was close enough now that they could see details on its black surface. It was covered with spikes and holes that looked like mouths. "And it was opening those mouths now. Energy weapons charging," Nari shouted. "They're going to fire." Light began to build inside the ship's mouth holes. But it was not normal light. It was the color of sickness and death. Jiwoo knew that if those weapons fired, everyone on the Eternal Dawn would die. The dragons around the ship would die too, and then the Devourers would go to other worlds and kill more people. He could not let that happen. "Vilthox," he said, "teach me how to bond properly. Right now." "It takes years to learn," the dragon started to say. "We don't have years," Jiwoo said. "We have minutes. My blood remembers, right? Help me remember faster." Vilthox looked at the Devourer ship, then at Jiwoo. "It could kill you. The bonding process is dangerous when it happens too fast. If we don't try, we'll all die anyway," Jiwoo said. The dragon nodded slowly. "Then we try. Everyone else, stay back." Vilthox grew larger until he was back to his full size. The docking bay was barely big enough to hold him. He lowered his great head until it was touching Jiwoo's forehead. "Open your mind," Vilthox said. "Let me in completely." Jiwoo felt the dragon's thoughts flowing into his mind like a river. But it was not just Vilthox's thoughts. Through the great bond, he could feel every dragon that was flying toward them. Their strength became his strength. Their knowledge became his knowledge. His body began to glow with silver light, just like the dragon. Dr. Yuna's scanner was beeping so fast it sounded like screaming. "Now," Vilthox said, "call to them. Call to all our kind." Jiwoo opened his mouth and spoke in the dragon language. But this time his voice carried across the stars. Every dragon in the galaxy heard him. "Come quickly," he called. "The enemy has returned. We need the strength of all dragon kind." The answer came back like thunder. Dragons from 1,000 worlds roared as one. "We come, bonded one. We come." But the Devourer ship was ready to fire. The sick light in its mouth holes was bright enough to hurt their eyes. "Jiwoo," Captain Sunho shouted. "Whatever you're going to do, do it now." Jiwoo felt the power of the great bond flowing through him. He could feel Vilthox's strength, and the strength of all the dragons flying through space to help them. But was it enough? Through the bond, he felt something else, a small scared mind calling to him from inside the Devourer ship. "Brother," the voice said, "I can feel you. Help me." Jinsu was alive, and he was not alone. There were other prisoners on that ship. Humans with the bonded blood who had been captured over the years. There are more of us on that ship, Jiwoo told everyone. We have to save them. How? Yunwoo asked. We can't fight something that big. Jiwoo looked at Velthox. The dragon's eyes were glowing with the same light as his own. Together, Velthox said, as our kinds did long ago. The Devourer ship fired its weapons. Beams of death-colored light shot toward the eternal dawn. In seconds, everyone would be dead. But Jiwoo and Velthox were ready. Together, they raised a shield of silver light around the ship. The Devourer weapons hit the shield and scattered like broken glass. The eternal dawn was safe, but Jiwoo could feel the effort draining his strength. Hold on, Velthox told him. Help is coming. In the distance, Jiwoo could see them, hundreds of dragons flying through space toward the battle. They came from every direction like silver stars falling toward the enemy. The real fight was about to begin. The space around the eternal dawn filled with dragons. They came in every color and size. Some were as small as fighters, others as big as battleships. All of them glowed with inner fire as they prepared for war. But the Devourer ship was ready too. More black ships appeared from the dark spaces between stars. Soon there were 10 of them, each one bigger than a human city. This is it, Captain Sunho said quietly. The biggest battle in human history. Through the great bond, Jiwoo could feel every dragon's thoughts. Their anger at the old enemy. Their hope that this time they could win for good. And their trust in him, a young human who had been a stable boy just weeks ago. Are you ready, bonded one? Velthox asked. Jiwoo looked at the enemy ships. He thought about his brother trapped inside one of them. He thought about all the worlds that would die if the Devourers won. I'm ready, he said. The battle began. Dragons shot fire and lightning at the black ships. The Devourers fired back with weapons that turned space itself into poison. Explosions lit up the darkness like deadly flowers. Jiwoo closed his eyes and reached out through the great bond. He could guide the dragons, help them work together instead of fighting alone. Left wing, attack the third ship, he told them with his mind. Right wing, protect the human vessels. The dragons moved like they were dancing. They flew in perfect formations, covering each other and striking at weak points on the enemy ships. But the Devourers had learned from their old battles too. Black fighter ships poured out of the big vessels like angry insects. They were fast and deadly, and there were thousands of them. We need help, a dragon called from far away. There are too many. That's when Admiral Kyung arrived. Human ships jumped out of hyperspace all around the battle. Hundreds of them, from tiny fighters to massive battleships. The human fleet had come to fight beside the dragons. This is Admiral Kyung to all ships. Her voice came over the radio. Today we fight beside legends. Today we save the galaxy. The humans and dragons fought together like they had always been partners. Human ships were fast and smart. Dragons were strong and brave. Together they were unstoppable. But Jiwoo had his own mission. Through the bond, he could still feel his brother's scared thoughts inside the biggest Devourer ship. I have to go to him, he told Velthox. It's too dangerous, the dragon said. That ship is full of death. Then we'll have to be stronger than death, Jiwoo said. Velthox looked at him for a long moment. Then the ancient dragon smiled. You sound like one of the old bonded ones. Very well, we go together. They flew out of the eternal dawn and toward the biggest enemy ship. Velthox had grown to his full size again, and Jiwoo rode on his back. Silver light surrounded them like armor. Devourer fighters tried to stop them, but the other dragons protected them. Blue dragons breathed ice to freeze the enemy ships. Red dragons burned them with fire hot as stars. Black dragons moved through space like shadows, striking without warning. They reached the enemy ship and found an opening. Inside, everything was dark and cold. The walls were covered with pictures of death and pain. This was a ship built by creatures that hated all life. This way, Jiwoo said. He could feel his brother's thoughts getting stronger. They flew through long hallways filled with the smell of fear. In some rooms, Jiwoo saw cages with people inside. Humans who had been captured over the years. All of them had the bonded blood. Free them, he told Velthox. Free them all. The dragon breathed silver fire that melted the cage doors. The prisoners ran out, weak but alive. Among them was a young man who looked exactly like Jiwoo. Jinsu. Jiwoo whispered. His brother looked up with tears in his eyes. I knew you would come. I could feel you calling me. But their reunion was interrupted. The ship's master appeared. A devourer so old and evil that looking at it hurt their eyes. It was tall as 3 men with too many arms and a mouth full of needle teeth. So, the creature said in a voice like breaking glass, the last bonded one comes to die in the place where the first ones died. This is Drakmor, Velthok said. He led the attack that destroyed our alliance long ago. Your dragons will all die again, Drakmor said, and this time, we will make sure no bonded humans survive. The creature raised its arms and dark energy flowed from its claws. But Jiwoo was not afraid anymore. He could feel the strength of every dragon in the battle. He could feel the courage of every human fighting outside. You're wrong, Jiwoo said. We're not the last. We're the first of something new. He reached out through the great bond, not just to the dragons, but to his brother and the other freed prisoners. All of them had the bonded blood. All of them could share in the ancient power. Together they created a light brighter than any star. The light filled the ship and burned away the darkness. Drakmor screamed as the light touched him. This is for all the worlds you destroyed, Jiwoo said. The light grew brighter. Outside the ship, every dragon in the battle felt it and added their own power. Even the human ships began to glow as their crews felt the hope and courage flowing from the bonded ones. Drakmor and his ship were destroyed in an explosion of silver fire. The other Devourer ships, seeing their leader die, tried to run back to the dark places between stars. But they were not fast enough. Dragons and human ships chased them down. This time there would be no survivors to threaten the galaxy again. When the battle was over, something amazing happened. All the dragons, hundreds of them, gathered around the eternal dawn, and one by one, they bowed their great heads to Jiwoo, not because he was their master, but because he was their partner, their friend, their bonded brother. You have brought us home, Velthok said. For 10,000 years we were lost and alone. Now we have family again. The great Valdris appeared last. It was the oldest dragon in the galaxy, so old that it remembered when the stars were young. It was bigger than any of the others, with scales that looked like liquid starlight. Even this ancient creature, older than civilizations, bowed its head to Jiwoo. Well done, young keeper of the bond, the great Valdris said. You have proven that humans and dragons belong together among the stars. Later, as the freed prisoners were taken to safety and the wounded were healed, Jiwoo sat with his brother on the observation deck of the Eternal Dawn. What happens now? Jinsu asked. Jiwoo looked out at the dragons flying beside the human ships. They were no longer flying alone. Each dragon had chosen a human partner from among the bonded bloodline. The old alliance was reborn. Now we explore the galaxy together, Jiwoo said. Humans and dragons like it was always meant to be. Admiral Kyung's voice came over the ship's radio. Attention all vessels. By order of the Earth Government and the Dragon Council, Jiwoo is named the first guardian of the Alliance. The galaxy is under our protection now. Captain Sunho found them on the observation deck. So, Guardian, he said with a smile. What are your orders? Jiwoo thought about it. A few weeks ago he had been just a stable boy taking care of alien animals. Now he was responsible for keeping peace in the galaxy. But he was not alone. He had his brother. He had Velthoks and all the dragons. He had friends like Nari and Captain Sunho. And he had something his ancestors could only dream of. A galaxy where humans and dragons flew together as equals. First, he said, we make sure every human colony knows they're safe. Then we start exploring. There's a whole galaxy out there, and now we have the best guides in the universe. Through the great bond, he felt the agreement of every dragon. They were ready to see what wonders waited among the stars. The stable boy had become a guardian, and the galaxy would never be the same.